Hi guys, my name is Allina McDaniel, and today we are going to be discussing leveraging English learner assets and building homeschool connections. I currently am a long-term sub in the great state of Texas. I wanted to speak with y'all about how we can highlight strategies to honor our students and create classrooms where every child feels valued, safe, capable, and included. Our first topic is going to be culturally responsive teaching. Culture shapes how our students communicate, how they view authority, how they learn, and how they like to be praised or corrected. The article that I found on understood.org states that culturally responsive teaching requires understanding these influences so instruction can match cultural strengths rather than conflict with them. So, for example, some students from some cultures where collaboration is valued or over like their individual performance, where some cultures might say that speaking out is considered disrespectful. So, us understanding what our students need and where their culture um, is from is really, really important. Our next slide is going to be cultural competence. Teacher Vision and Teach Hub define cultural competence as the ability to understand, communicate with, and interact with people across cultures. So, for EL instruction, cultural competence means knowing our students' cultural backgrounds, adapting our instruction to make it inclusive and respectful to them, and then again, also reflecting on our own biases. So, making sure that we are self aware. Um, Integrating cultural beliefs and values into instruction. So we can integrate culture by using text, visuals, examples that reflect or are similar to what our students have gone through. We can invite our students to celebrate their traditions or their languages or their certain kinds of thinking. And then we can also cross connect through academic content. For example, we just celebrated Hispanic Heritage Month at our school. We have a good population of bilinguals and ELs, and we read a book over it. And one of my students connected to this really, really well. She was excited to learn about it. It also made the other kids excited to learn about it. So, by incorporating these things such as books, stories, YouTube videos, whatever it might be, helps the student feel like their culture is respected and valued and matters. Um, so, when it comes to culture and learning in inclusive environments, um, culture can overall deeply influence and affect how a student learns. Greatschools.org points out that educators must understand cultural experiences around communication, independence, problem solving, and even eye contact to set students up for success. So, the way that our classroom environment can affect this is by making sure that we have a safe, predictable, language rich, affirming, loving, kind classroom where every student feels like they are respected no matter what their culture is. These spaces can be built by visuals, anchor charts, sentence stems, gestures, modeling. We can also kind of encourage speaking out, risk taking, and celebrating them even if they're not right. It doesn't always have to be accurate. And then also maintaining structured routines. Kids need structure, any of them truly, and this helps them be able to reduce the cognitive load. Um, Overall, inclusive environments are not accidental, and we truly, as teachers, have to set up and build classrooms that are inclusive. Cultural diversity and leveraging home language assets. So, supporting and celebrating cultural diversity. Um, Ways we can do this at school is through multicultural classroom libraries. I have a library set up that has different books from different cultures. The books that we read that are incorporated into our lesson plans for the things that we celebrate each month at school or whenever a holiday is are put into that library. We also use My Books, which they can go and look at these books as well on their computers, which is super awesome. We can also celebrate through discussions and videos, learning activities that let students act as cultural experts. So this is where they could do a presentation about their culture or bring something from home that shows their culture so that other students in the classroom can experience and see firsthand what might be important to this student. Leveraging home language as an asset. So, research consistently shows that home language supports English acquisition, not the opposite. So, some of these strategies that might be used is allowing our students to brainstorm or draft ideas in their own language, using bilingual resources, buddy support, maybe an above grade level kiddo that's mastering English is a great person to pair up with this student, connecting the vocabulary in English to the linguistic roots from the student's language, and then also building a connection with the family so that we can kind of see what languages and language knowledge that can help us in the classroom for the student. So when a student overall feels like their language is valued and is important, their confidence rises. So, supporting EL identities and needs. Um, ELs are not a monolithic group, they have unique strengths, needs, and identities. Ways that we can be responsive in this nature are by differentiated scaffolding, so visuals, anchor charts, modeling it at the teacher table, sentence frames, grouping them with maybe people that are really, really helpful for their learning, or tiered assignments, choice-based demonstrations, and then targeted language instructions. Supporting special needs ELs. Some ELs also receive SPED services. In my classroom, I have SPED students that receive services inside of the classroom and outside of the classroom. You know, we make sure that we have all the supporting things that the state allows when it comes to testing, and then also when it just comes to daily life. Um, so, the social emotional kind of needs that one of my EL kids has experienced, and I know that others that my mentor has dealt with experience as well, is just a culture shock, anxiety. They feel nervous, they feel maybe isolated, or maybe that their culture isn't right because everybody else is doing something different. Ways that I have found that really make a difference in showing up and how we support them is by greeting them daily, providing them with positive friends at their table group, or setting them up with friends that are going to help them and make them grow. And then also teaching emotional vocabulary, sticking to a routine, a class schedule so that they know this happens next, this happens next, and then also celebrating them for their small wins even. This helps the student feel like they can participate and they want to join in the conversation and they want to learn. So, routines, procedurals, and cultural needs. Understanding students' social, emotional, and culture needs are essential for setting up routines. Predictable routines are crucial for students. I feel like if your classroom is not structured and you do not have routines in place, there is going to be chaos, no matter the student. So this helps reduce the stress levels in the classroom. It makes everybody feel calm and, collected, like they want to share. And when we have these routines combined with visuals, modeling, culturally mindful expectations, our students can feel like they want to engage and they are in a safe space to do that. Um, Homeschool connections and funds of knowledge. So, funds of knowledge, family and community knowledge, traditions, skills, languages, values, they're powerful tools for learning. These funds influence language development because students rely on what they already know to find meaning in English. So, some ways that we can build strong family and community partnerships is by two-way communication, setting up meetings with these parents, inviting the families to share their stories with us, making those connections, partnering with different kinds of organizations in the community for the students that are all different kinds of cultures, just implementing different kind of cultures into the classroom. And then also showing that we support our parents as well and their culture. So, all in all, every English learner brings different cultural, linguistic, and personal strengths to the table. When we build inclusive classrooms that honor our students' home languages and collaborate with their families, communicate with them, we can really see them thrive. So, that is going to be the ending of my presentation. And thank you for helping us create classrooms that are safe and valued. Bye.